the current members of Parliament. They are here with us. Mama Cecilia Ogwal is here with us. The Chairperson, Women Members of Parliament, is here with us. Jackie is here with us. Honorable Samo is also over there. Your Excellency, we have the members of the Women League, the NRM Women League, led by Honorable Wanyoto, Lydia. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We also have representatives of women leaders in other parties, and Mama Cecilia Ogwal is one of them, but she always supports us in all the struggles. Excellency, we have pilots, female pilots, the young female pilots. We are celebrating you with the coming of the Bombardier. Uganda airline flies with the female pilots. We really appreciate you, and thank you so much for leading and inspiring young people. And I'm sure the cameras are viewing, and everybody over there is viewing the young ladies who are pilots. Thank you so much. We have young leaders, the female young leaders. The female young leaders, some of them represent also in the Women Council, but there's one who is responsible for culture, and my sister in the skilling program. She makes shoes, wonderful shoes. The National Women Council, I cannot introduce them more than what the chairperson did, but stand up for recognition. We thank you so much for coming. The Equal Opportunities Commission, thank you so much for coming. The permanent secretaries are also here. They are led by the Cabinet Secretary, Mr. John Metala, and our permanent secretary is also here with us. Your Excellency, we have members of the Diplomatic Corps. Thank you so much. They are led by the resident country coordinator. Your Excellency, we have religious leaders with us. Thank you so much for building our inner body, the spirit. And we also have presidential advisors. Presidential advisors, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would wish to specifically take note of a few following persons. Justice Haneta Olayo, representing women in the judiciary. I think I saw her around today. Justice Catherine Wamgemerere, you are most welcome. Mama Mbire, the first female entrepreneur. She's about 86 years now, but she can still walk on her feet without holding a stick, and she's still very strong and supportive to the revolutionary struggle. Mrs. Zaina Muwonga is also here, and Mama Nsonga from Masulita. Mrs. Oliver Chigongo is also with us. And we also want to appreciate Madam Allen Kajina. She has ushered a very visible change in whichever area she has served. We celebrate with you, and your efforts were not wasted. you have done as good as women of Uganda. Mrs. Dorothy Kisaka, sorry, I beg your pardon. Mrs. Dorothy Kisaka, Office of the Prime Minister, KCCA. Thank you so much. Executive Director. Executive Director. Where is she? She's here with us, Your Excellency. We want to thank Dr. Musenero. She's over there. She's done a tremendous job in the struggle against COVID-19. And many others, of course, who have worked along with her. And Grace Cavallo is the Secretary General of Pan-African Women Organization from Uganda. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to inform you that my colleague, Honorable Frank Tumwebaza, couldn't be here with us because of another engagement he had assigned him to do, and I'm therefore representing him, and I will stand as Aaron in the Bible, who would at all times stand with Moses in the circumstances that was unable to do the duties. Aaron will be there. So I am on Aaron here today. I'm extremely delighted to welcome all of you on this year's International Women's Day at State House Entebbe. In a special way, I wish to thank you, Your Excellency, and the Honorable First Lady, Mama Janet Museveni, as well as the entire team of State House for hosting this function, for the warm hospitality accorded to us. Your Excellency, we thank you for presiding over this year's International Women's Day. Today, we had a dialogue in the morning at Parliament where we had about 200 people brainstorming on the theme of this International Women's Day. And this theme was constituted by members of Parliament, the Women Council, the civil society organization, up to around 11. And now we are in the second session, and where they are viewing us. Allow me, Your Excellency, to congratulate you once again on the victory in the recent concluded elections, and congratulate Your Excellency and assure you of our total commitment to support your mandate during this term, which Ugandans have entrusted you with. I wish to also congratulate all those who were elected in various positions. We look forward, as the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, to work with all the leaders for the socio-economic transformation of our country. We would like to thank all of you who came to celebrate the Women's Day and for the milestone contribution you have made towards promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. Your Excellency, the global theme for this year is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID World. The theme celebrates the efforts of women in shaping a more equal future and recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. The national theme is building on women's strength for a better future in a COVID-19 world. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, and all Ugandans, it is now 1 year since COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic. The strict measures which were taken to save lives and control the pandemic, including the lockdown at one time, have had negative impacts on the social and economic well-being of the people in Uganda and the world at large. We have also had a change in the way we conduct business. and in the way we conduct ourselves. We now work virtually, and we have to prepare ourselves for a digital future. The theme in Uganda examines the effects of COVID-19 on women and girls and their contribution in responding to the pandemic. The theme requires all of us to position. The theme requires all of us in positions of leadership to commit towards mitigating the effects of the pandemic on women and girls and supporting their recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 has affected our economy, escalated cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Uganda, increased pressure on the health sector, and led to the closure of schools and education institutions. As we celebrate the International Women's Day 2021, my ministry and the country at large recognizes the resilience, the contribution and strength of Ugandan women in responding to COVID-19. Women have been at the forefront of the political and institutional response to this pandemic. In the informal sector, Your Excellency, women have continued to play a vital role in the development of the country, including to prior to the COVID-19 period. More women, by 95%, are in the informal sector, which has played a critical role in sustaining families, communities during this difficult time. Women in the markets continued to serve and slept in the markets during the lockdown from March to June 2020 in order to ensure that people in urban areas accessed food and supplies from these markets. Through these efforts, women were able to sustain themselves and families throughout the COVID-19 lockdown. This level of resilience and devotion among women is very commendable. During the lockdown, all of us stayed at home, women and girls, through their reproductive, unproductive, and caregiving roles, shouldered the biggest burden of the pandemic. Building on this resilience and strength, I have the pleasure to inform Ugandans that the NRM government recognizes women's unpaid care work and has taken measures to reduce its burden on women and girls through improving access to quality services and facilities, as well as promoting appropriate technology. We can do better. Women are playing a key role in fighting against COVID-19 in informal settlements as frontline healthcare workers and caregivers. Women constitute 70% of the healthcare workforce. The COVID-19 National Preparedness and Responsive Plan ought to recognize and facilitate their specific needs and vulnerabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, food remains one of the key essentials of life during the lockdown and in the period of recovery. We appreciate the government of Uganda's effort towards the distribution of food items to households and families, especially in urban areas. We equally appreciate the continued food production by farmers who are majorly women, as well as the supply that has sustained Uganda during the COVID-19 period. Your Excellency, you launched the national rollout of social assistance grant for empowerment at the national celebration of the International Women's Day in 2020. I have the pleasure to inform you, Your Excellency, that the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development completed the rollout. A total number of 914,652 beneficiaries have received their payment, from which 548,792 are women, while 365,860 are men. The program delivered 67 billion shillings to beneficiaries in all districts. We want to thank you so much for caring for the elderly persons. It should be noted that 60% of the beneficiaries of the program are women. The program has continued to deliver payment during the COVID-19 period and under approved standard operating procedures, and gender and equity issues are also followed strictly. Your Excellency, you also launched the EU Spotlight Initiative on ending violence against women and girls in 7 districts of Amadat, Arua, Kampala, Kasese, Kitgum, Chegegwa, and Tororo. Through the program, government of Uganda has been able to have the national child policy approved, capacity for case management strengthened, sexual reproductive health, HIV, and gender-based violence integrated into the Universal Health Coverage Strategy 2021-2025 of Uganda, and supporting the sustainability of the 16 gender-based violence shelters in different districts. These gender-based violence shelters have played a critical role in the provision of prevention and response services to the survivors of gender-based violence, especially during COVID-19 lockdown, when we experienced increased cases in gender-based violence throughout the country. I take this opportunity to remind all Ugandans, violence is unacceptable. I implore all Ugandans to take measures to stop all forms of violence against women, including mindset, including amidst the emergencies and crises like the COVID-19 we have just experienced, the floods, and other natural catastrophes that we experience. We thank the government of Uganda for the support extended to our flagship programs, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, which aims at improving access to financial services for women and equipping them with skills and information for enterprise growth, value addition, and marketing of their products and services. For this financial year, 2020-2021, a total of 18 billion has been disbursed for 2,565 projects, and 26,992 direct beneficiaries have been reached. Your Excellency, our field report have indicated an increasing level of economic exploitation against web beneficiaries by their spouses. Some spouses have abandoned their traditional roles and responsibilities, and they demand for money from their wives at the expense of the project. I call upon men to support their wives. Economic exploitation of women has to stop if we are to register economic gains from women's hard work. The Ministry has supported capacity building for women leaders and development of the Third National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security in 2020-2025. I'm glad that you will launch the plan today, Your Excellency. My ministry works in collaboration with other stakeholders to implement these policies and programs. I therefore wish to acknowledge and appreciate the contribution of the ministries, departments and agencies, the UN agency and development partners, private sector, the media, and civil society organizations. Your Excellency, allow me to inform you that the women of Uganda are in full support of your vision and strategic plan for the development of this country through the different investments in the economic growth sector and delivery of service. We are aware of your continued support to the empowerment of rural women. Your Excellency, during the commemoration of Mother Tongue Day, held on the 2nd of May 2021, the elderly women, who you very well know because of some cultural practices, were not able to go to school. But because of your able leadership, Your Excellency, many of them have been able to acquire informal education through FAO classes. And some were able to acquire education, civic education, through religious institutions. They could read the Bible and the Quran. But now, because of your able leadership to empower and emancipate women under the affirmative action, the elderly leaders, the elderly people are also in Parliament. We now have about 5 representatives of the elderly persons in Parliament. But at the local government, at the lower local government, when they are compelled to read and swear, take oath in English, they struggle with the language they do not able to understand. And they're wondering whether they really commit to what they have sworn if they cannot even speak the language very well. They are seeking your indulgence, Excellency. Allow them swear in the local language, because their grandchildren make fun of them. You listen to Zungururu and everybody is reporting about somebody who could not be able to speak English. But they can able represent their people in the local councils. Would wish that you buy them out, Your Excellency. Let them take oath in the local language they understand best. Your Excellency, as I conclude, allow me to take this opportunity to once again thank you for your continued support to the empowerment of women and girls through the above named programs. We appreciate your leadership, which has enabled communities, including rural women and girls, to contribute to the overall development of our country. We count on your continued support and once again call upon women, youth, and other vulnerable groups to take advantage of the available government programs to move Uganda to greater socioeconomic growth and development. Your Excellency, while we are operating virtually, I have a message from the Pan-African Women Organization. Her Excellency Eunice Epinge from Namibia, who is the current president of Pan-African Women Organization, together with eminent President Mama Astou Koita from Senegal. They want to thank you and recognize that you single-handedly revived Pan-African Women Organization movement in 2018. And that it is because of your strong support for women empowerment that the Women Empowerment Program has come to reality. They will forever be grateful. And now they have, the Secretariat is now here in Uganda. We want to thank the Secretary General, Mama Kabayo, and Mama Cecilia Gwal, because of the way she strongly moves the women agenda. When we are out of this country, you would not believe what she does. We want to thank you because of the way you have stood with us in this struggle. It's now my honor and privilege to invite Your Excellency to address the nation.
Sit down, please, sit down. The former Vice President, Dr. Kazubwe, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, His Lordship Deputy Chief Justice, Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Secretary General, Chief Whip, Ministers, Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Women Council leaders, the NRM Youth League, Women League, and all the invited guests, and the Ugandans who are listening outside there. The NRM long ago evolved 4 principles. Because we have been studying this situation of Uganda and Africa for the last 60 years. So as we went along, we thought that what Uganda lacked was grasping the 4 principles. Patriotism, number 1, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Now, all of them affect the society and especially the woman. But I don't have time to go into each one of them. However, when you come to socio-economic transformation, it's very clear. Since the 1960s, when I started being active, I could see there were 2 types of women in Uganda here. Forget about other parts of the world. There were the women who are members of the elite, Abasoma, the educated women. Small group, but they are there. And then on the one hand, then on the other hand, you have the village women. Now, when we say socio-economic transformation, what do we mean? For me, I'm very happy that I have been able to jump socio-economically, transform myself. And the proof of that is my wife who is here. Versus my mother, because my mother was a woman. Now, what is the difference? The difference between the Janet-like woman and Esther Kukundeka-like woman, my mother. The difference is that the other one carries the baby on the back. Okheka. Janet here has never carried a baby on her back. She's here, just proof if you want. Not one day has she carried a baby on her back. The children were pushed in their trams. So really we must stop wasting time talking. Things are very clear. So Janet is here. It's not a novel, it's not a fiction. She has never carried a baby on her back. Neither the baby nor the grandchildren. She's not a horse to be rode by children riding on her back. Okuweka. Unotaweka ngono. Okuweka abana. Tuwatukyali awo. This woman here has never had amazing to carry water on her head, except when she was a child. That one I'm not responsible for. I am only accounting for the phase where we were involved. This woman has never carried water on her head. Neither Kidomora, nor a day, because Edda Twanko sang a debe. They are now out of fashion. Teens, whatever they call them. So this one has never carried water. Please, let's not talk and let's say talk. We are talking about social economic transformation for all. I will come to that all. Mbade nchari kono wange. Okushenye nku. Cutting the firewood. Cutting their firewood with a panga and then carry it on your head. Onotati abanga nku. This one has never cut firewood. She has never carried it. Even when we were in exile in Tanzania, she never carried firewood, even once. Okushenye nku, okutyabe nku. Okeyerenju, sweeping house. In the olden days, we were using the broom. We were using the broom in the olden days. These days, she doesn't even do it herself. She can supervise others to hoover the house. Instead of being there in the okuhemba umuriro, okukuma umuriro, to light the fire. Very troublesome, that one. There's what they call okutra, where you become the fan from your lungs. When you are using your breath to be the fan. Uganda ruavu teruna bigambo. Okutra. When the fire goes out, the poor woman must use her breath to. Banyangwale call it okutra. Uganda kigambo ki. Okuma is just to light. That's the general word. Okunokhemba. But to blow enough oxygen, basoga abanyankole. Because it is the same word in Runyankole, okufutirira. Bimwogera okusesamu, that is okwenegeza. You just push with the firewood themselves. But this one, the poor woman must use her breath to become the fan now, to be the one to okutiromoro. When the woman is going to the market, she carries the food on her head. Etoke, rumonde, all those things. Okwetika, okwekorra. Okwetika ebintu, okubitwala mu katale. And those people are even experts. They can carry without touching it. Very, very experts, our people. They just put it, and I don't know how they handle gravity. To cultivate with the hoe. Not the tractor, not even the plow, but the hoe. Ate bwe kituuka ku okweyamba, olina okuva mu nyumba ogende emitala y'amayanja olyoke weeyambe. When it comes to helping oneself, you must go outdoors, even in the night. Even in the night. No indoor. This one has never gone out, that she's looking for some address. Actually, the Banyankole have a proverb. They say, which means that the behind of yours, which is annoyed with you, forces you to go in the rain, to go somewhere, to go in the rain, to go and help yourself. Then, okusoma n'okuwandiika.
Quatesimu! For the first time in Uganda, you can pay in installments and own a smartphone instantly. Get to own the Samsung A3 Core, Samsung A01 or Samsung A11 and pay back in either daily, weekly or monthly installments for a period of a year. To check if you're eligible for the offer, dial *284*49# today. You also enjoy free 500 MB on the purchased phone every month for the entire loan repayment period. Uganda nyuma. Airtel, the smartphone network, in proud partnership with MasterCard, Samsung and Asante Financial Services.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Household incomes. Of course, what Mtuzo is saying is correct in a way, because she's saying that even when the family earns, those useless husbands can steal the money. They can steal the money and divert it. But that's the next problem. Let the family first earn, because now the family is not earning. So those people are just fighting over poverty. Yeah. They are fighting over poverty because they are not earning. Because remember the figures of the census of 2014, we are saying that 68% of the homes. Somebody was talking about it here. I think it was Farida Chiboa. Somebody was talking about it. 2014, just the other, not a few years ago, they were still saying 68% of the homesteads are only working for the stomach. Bakorachida Chonka, as the Bagwere say, teach, may each, keken, in Luo. So if you have got that situation, you can talk for ages. 68% of the families are not earning income. So you can talk for ages about this rights, but I don't think you are going to move. So let them first. And it can be done. It's just a question of you, the educated people, because I did it. I did it when I was a student. I was not a leader. I was not a member of parliament. I was able to educate those people in the 1960s. Then when I came back recently, I resumed, 86. And they changed. They are there. Their address is well known. That North Ankole, but eventually it covered the whole cattle corridor. Once they get incomes, of course, there can be the issue of distribution, fair distribution. But it is easier to handle when you have got what to distribute than when you have nothing to distribute. So therefore, my main message today really is socio-economic transformation. Let the women of Uganda, because and they spend a lot of time. You can imagine going to look for firewood. How many hours they spend. Some of these diseases that affect people is because of going to the bush to look for firewood. If, for instance, you take bilharzia, they get it when they are going to the river to get water from the river. When we introduced boreholes, imagine boreholes, they were able to save us from bilharzia because people are no longer going to the to the river. This other one, the guinea worm in the north, is disappeared now. And we eliminated it simply by boreholes. Borehole water instead of the other water from the swamps. But still, even the borehole, in my opinion, is not a good idea. It's not the best idea. I think we should go beyond to people having water in their houses, so they don't have to waste time going to Oksaka, Amazi, Okuvaku, borehole. But they can't do that if they don't have income. If they have income, they can even bring water, bring electricity independently, even before the government comes in to bring it. Biogas, cooking with the biogas instead of okuwutirira, biogas from the cow dung. So please, let's speak about socio-economic transformation. The difference between Europe and you people is exactly that. Europe started socio-economic transformation about 200 years ago, the Industrial Revolution. They were living like us here. But they changed. It is socio-economic change, not just legal. Because if you talk about legal, everagiro, without talking about the society changing, you can talk for you first go and the other one is called Oktavana. When you eat together, you eat Oktavana. You go first Oktavana on the Ragara, on the communal family food, but afterwards there is some food for only the women here. So that's what actually changed the situation of Uganda, because now that means because the districts are now 146. So whatever happens to the 15, then you have now an extra 146. So that shows you that our appreciation was correct. That if you really want women to have a voice, you can't use the other simple formula of one person, one vote. Yes, you will have democracy, all right, but it will be democracy with inbuilt marginalization. Yeah. That's why NRM said no. Yeah. It must be democracy, but with affirmative action. That's our formula. So I congratulate the women. I congratulate all Ugandans on this occasion of the Women's Day. Apoyo Rubanga. Katonda wabere. Thank you very much. Now there is something. There is a book, a plan. Sit down. This is the National Action Plan 3 on women, peace and security. I haven't read it. I don't know what it involves my socio-economic transformation, but for better or for worse. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Uganda is committed to the implementation of the Women, Peace and Security Agenda as enshrined in the United Nations Security Council Resolution UNS something 1325 and subsequent resolutions, Uganda has demonstrated this commitment on women, peace and security through the development and implementation of the first National Action Plan 2008 and 2010, and second Action Plan 2021-2015. The third National Action Plan 2020. Training. I can't manage that. The 2025 is premised on the reflections and lessons learned from the implementation of the first and second National Action Plan, with the new focus on promoting women's meaningful participation and leadership in conflict prevention, resolution and peace building. Ngakanga tekalimu. Okulamula abarwana. Kale katugenderawo. I wish to thank the UN agencies, our development partners, government ministries and agencies, local governments that have supported our women, peace and security agenda. Special thanks to the government of Norway and UN Women for supporting the development of the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, I take the honor to launch the third National Action Plan of Women, Peace and Security, and call upon you to support its effective implementation. But add somewhere my socio-economic transformation. The book is here. The book. Mtuzo harimo okindwa mbere yaba enshaho z'abakazi. Kirumu ninga ekyo tikirumu n'okuramura kwonka.
In resolution, nayo kuramura kwonka.
Okuramura kwonka.
Ejo kwatire n'okuramura.
Okuramura benjara. Okuramura benjara. What do you call separating people who are fighting in our law? Huh? Teko.
Yes.
Teko. So this teko with the, what do we call hunger? With the cage. Teko with the cage. Teko make cage. You separate people who have eaten.
Yes,
so I think we should add the, how can you add the Shaho?
The socio-economic transformation is also part of it within the conflict resolution.
You are sure?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Or you have thought about it on the microphone now?
No, Your Excellency. In the conflict resolution, we look at a win-win. People are struggling because of poverty. So the best way to do it is to ensure that each one has his own share.
Okay. Apoyo Rubanga. Let's move.
Your Excellency, there is also a need for you to launch the 8th and 9th periodic report on the implementation of the Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. The report is with you, Your Excellency.
Very good. Thank you.
Your Excellency, there is a dummy check for Women Entrepreneurship Program, which would wish you to hand over to Wakusho District. The dummy check. And the chairperson of Wakusho District is here with us, and the chairperson of the Women Council. Let them receive the check, Your Excellency, from you. Yes, I think the question. Excellency, I invite you to kindly hand over the check worth, is that 7 million? Worth 7 billion shillings, 65,900,000 shillings to Wakusho district, which is a host today, and the chairperson of Wakusho district, Sheila Karyebara, is there to receive it. Thank you, Excellency. Excellency, we thank you for launching the 2 reports, but we kindly request you to sign on the dummy booklets. And with you will be the UN Resident Coordinator, Rose Malango, and Her Excellency Arian Ostabo Johnson, and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Your Excellency, the 2 last damage checks would wish request that they are handed over to the Chairperson of the Women's Council, the Institutional Support Fund for local governments worth 895 million shillings, and the revolving fund, 727 million shillings. We thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the role you have performed in launching these socio-economic transformational programs. Excellency, we have come at the end of our program, and I want to thank you so much for standing with us, and I want to request management to play the anthems. I thank you.
It's your rose today, mothers, daughters, all women everywhere, stand up and embrace your rose today. We are the proud mothers of our nation, the backbone without which it can never stand. We wake up, we wake up, we wake up at the crack of dawn and think
and gentlemen, I want to invite you for lunch. And I beg your pardon,
Quatesimu! For the first time in Uganda, you can pay in installments and own a smartphone instantly. Get to own the Samsung A3 core, Samsung A01 or Samsung A11 and pay back in either daily, weekly or monthly installments for a period of a year. To check if you're eligible for the offer, dial *284*49# today. You also enjoy free 500 MB on the purchased phone every month for the entire loan repayment period. Uganda nyuma.